First thing we have tonight is a public hearing on the budget, basically, and all persons are reminded that the session is being recorded on tape for the preservation of records, and you're asked when called upon to give your name and address and interest in the matter before the council. Those matters under consideration for the public hearing are discussion of Ordinance 559, which is an ordinance for the levy of taxes for the fiscal year 2027, which will start on July 1st. Discussion of Ordinance 560, which is an ordinance to adopt the annual budget of the town of Hampstead for the period of July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. Discussion of Resolution 2026-02, a resolution regarding the increase in water rates, which is 8%. Discussion of Resolution 2026-04, which is a resolution adopting the 2024 water resources element, nothing to do with the budget. And then also nothing to do with the budget. Discussion of Resolution 2026-03, a resolution to amend the town charter concerning uncontested elections. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. And this is the time of year where I talk for about, 5-10 minutes about the budget and the way I see things shaping up for the town. But first, Marlene, anybody got a comment related to anything there's on the agenda?
I just told my family we'd use 8% more water.
8% less?
More.
More? Okay.
Yeah, since we're paying 8% more.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, I'll go on with my comments related to life on the budget side. Basically, it's important to outline how we're going to spend the hard-earned money. We know where the money comes from, and we're very careful with how we spend it. And then every year I outline the goals that we have, that we follow in establishing our budget. And one is retaining our small town charm by keeping Hampstead safe, affordable, and a great place to live and raise a family. Every decision is based on the long-term interest of our town, long-term best interest of our town. Most places think maybe 1, maybe a max of 4, which is the length of our respective terms up here. We've been thinking 20 since I got here, and it served us very well. Financial sustainability and resiliency, which is minimizing the impacts from the potential state and county government budget cuts, which will come with inevitable downturns in the economy or as political winds shift. This topic also covers unfunded mandates and new regulatory requirements. There's no way that we can minimize all these impacts because they tend to change quickly. And, but over time, I'll give you a couple of examples, 10 years, how the regulatory environment has increased the cost of operating a small local government. So overview of the current economic environment here as it relates to us and how you start at the Fed and work your way down. As always, there's a lot of economic news being made at the federal and state levels, which impact Main Street. The federal government spending continues to be prolific, and the war on Iran has caused oil and gas prices to increase, as everybody's seen. The downsizing of the federal government and our location next to D.C. impacts our region more than any other part of the country, given our location. But the impacts on Carroll County have been somewhat muted, thankfully. The state is forecasting yet another $1 billion annual deficit with no plans to reduce spending increases causing this issue, which are primarily tied to the Kerwin Blueprint education spending increases and to healthcare spending. Personally, my own observation is that business took a wait-and-see approach last year to let the tariffs and trade deals get finalized before committing fresh capital, which they have this year. And we're seeing some growth here locally. As far as Blueprint and state spending, we'll see what that portends come January of next year. But there's talk of the sales tax going up, and will they really find the discipline to cut spending? Economists, I say this I think pretty much every year. They can't predict 1 month, let alone 1 year out, let alone 5 years out. There's an example every year of how their short-term forecasting quickly changes with the news. This year's example is with inflation remaining sticky, and how there was talks at the beginning of this year for interest rates coming down, and now they're talking about interest rate increases. So we'll just let the situation play out and adjust as we need to. Last year it was how tariffs were going to drop us right into a recession, and there was no way out of it. Of course, none of that happened. Our Labor Department jobs report remains strong, which obviously impacts Main Street and everybody who lives in the town of Hampstead or Carroll County or the state of Maryland. They were just announced on Friday, and they beat estimates. And what's more importantly is because I think the estimates that they give on the first Friday of every month are just basically a shot in the dark. But if you look at what those changes were to the estimates in April and May, they were up significantly. So they've had more time to look at the statistics and make a better decision. As far as our priorities go, it's always safety first. Our police department is trained to today's standards and able to deal with today's issues. We currently have 9 sworn officers, which is down 1, who elected to leave us. Our interim chief Monahan and 1 administrator. We will be announcing a new chief later this summer. I'll have, I guess, a little bit more on that later in my comments during the meeting. Our water system is safe and in compliance with all the new regulations that come our way. As you've heard Jim talk about for years now, the water system centralization and modernization project continues to move forward, keeping in mind that measurements we must now meet are in parts per trillion. That's a 1 with 12 zeros. I feel like we should put it up on that screen so everybody can see how big a trillion is. The project is estimated to come in well below original estimates, is running on schedule. Funding for improvements has been secured through the state, and we have capped our engineering bond for the project at 1.8-ish, a little bit over $1.8 million, which is down from what we estimated originally at $3 million. And we hope to continue to reduce that number. We'll see how it goes. Our public works staff is 8 people. All of them are certified level 3 water operators. We also have 1 part-time project coordinator, who's really a part-time project coordinator extraordinaire, given he ran the county's planning department for years. Main Street, we're always looking for ways to make it more of an asset or an attraction, the latest upgrade being the mural on the side of Rocco's, which will be completed sometime later this summer. Our town staff, before I overlook all the staff, there's 5 people working here behind this door. They're all very knowledgeable, professional, and committed to helping any resident who walks through that door with any manner of questions that they do have. Dana, sitting here tonight, is our new finance administrator, sitting through her first budget with me. Business retention and development. Most every business space on Main Street is occupied, and business appears to be good on most days from what I can see. There's really, we're very fortunate in the number of stable businesses that we have. And then as far as a community amenity, we have parks. We're always adding to them. At Melvin Miller, we're adding a pavilion, a picnic area, and upgrades to the skate park with funding through program open space and community parks and playgrounds. That's state income tax money that we're bringing back home. And we've done a very good job every year of making sure that we get that money when it's available. For onto the budget, as far as taxes go, our property taxes this year are budgeted at $1.981 million, $1,981,000, which represents 40% of the income we expect to receive for the coming fiscal year, which is 5.7% above the amount we received this fiscal year. The rate's still at 22 cents per $100 of assessed value, which is no change. The last increase we had was in 2016, and the year before that it was in 2002. Manchester, by comparison, is at 21.6, so basically on par with us. Sykesville's at 33, Tawnytown 37, and Westminster 56. So I hope you will agree that we're trying to squeeze the buffalo off a nickel. It's an old saying. The housing market remains resilient in the face of higher interest rates and limited inventory, with the number of buyers still exceeding supply of homes on the market, though that number is shrinking. Houses are staying on the market longer as a result, and prices are not increasing at the rate they were the last few years. But they're still well in excess of assessed value in most times when they get sold. And our section of the county was just reassessed this year, and we're in the first year of our 3-year assessment cycle. So I told our town staff when we were meeting in here about raises and insurance costs in the last week, that the first year it's relatively easy to budget. The next year it's a little harder to make ends meet, and the third year it's always a stretch. Business personal property taxes are $90,000. You compare that to $1.98 million. You can see how quickly the numbers fall off. Our rate is 55 cents, and the number we're projected to get this year from business personal property taxes is a 5.8% increase over the $85,000 that we estimated for this year. And by comparison, the rates are Manchester's at 46, Sykesville's at 87.5, Tawnytown's at 80, and Westminster's at $1.10. So we're at 55. Amusement tax is $57.5 thousand, which is a 4.2% decrease based on the actuals from this year and last. That's basically, that's set at 7%, largely related to the Oakmont Green usage, golf usage out there. Our local share of income taxes is the second biggest contributor to our income at 27% of our estimated income at $1.345 million. It's 3% higher than where we project to end fiscal year 26. And these are the income taxes that are shared locally. When you check that little box on your tax return, your Maryland, nobody does it anymore because it's all online, right? But you check that little box that says Maryland, it doesn't result in you paying an extra tax, but it makes sure that we get our fair share of what you pay the state. And it gets used right here in our town. Other revenue, highway user funding is always interesting. HUR funding is the acronym, generally primarily from the gas taxes and registration fees you pay. Obviously, gas taxes are going up. Registration fees went through the roof. They're used to repair and resurface all of our roads, and every penny that we get is spent in repaving our roads. For perspective, 90% of that money was, when O'Malley was governor, was put back into the operating fund. So we only got 10, there were years where we got 20, 23,000, 25,000, and as a result we had to issue a bond one year to cover our paving costs, which will next year pay off. I'll go through that in a second. It's interesting now, though, that fiscal year 26, we originally budgeted $443,000, but we're down to $411,000. So, about little less than a 10% decrease. We're budgeting $399 for next year per state correspondence. Hopefully they don't come back in December and say you've been whacked again. And this is also the last year of a funding agreement reached with the General Assembly during Hogan's years, so it bears watching how HUR funding is going to be impacted and change in the coming years, though they would take that up legislatively in the next session. Program open space, I mentioned, we're budgeted at $297,000, and it's used entirely for park improvements, as discussed earlier. Carroll County overlapping services, those are Carroll County pays us some money every year for the same service that we provide, that they provide, so you're not double taxed. And that number is $399,000, which is down from $407,000 this year. And I look back to 2020, it's basically flat. They'll say their expenses are going up at the same rate ours, and the population distribution isn't changed. But there'll be some discussions in how that's shared. And we're fortunate. We're a May county. There's other counties that are shell counties. They shall contribute to their towns. There's towns on the Eastern Shore, like Ocean City, gets nothing from Westchester County. So we're trying to make that more uniform across the state, we being Maryland Municipal League. Franchise fees from cable TV, they continue to decrease a little bit every year from $54,500 to $50,000 next year. Cord cutting is what it is, simple as that. Interest is $162,000, relatively flat. It's dependent on CD rates. They were coming down, now they've leveled off. It's always fun when one of them renews and they want to reduce our rate and we say no. And that also is depending on our reserve funding. Our revenues in the budget this year are almost $5 million. They're $4,994,000 versus $4,469,000. That includes program open space this year, which we didn't get as much last year. If you take those both out and net them out, we're at a 7.7% increase in revenue, recurring revenue, basically one year to the next. Expense side of things. So salaries, we have 24 employees and one part-time employee, which is minus one year over year. As I said, one of our policemen moved on. We'll hope to backfill that sometime this year. We targeted 3 to 5%, but to keep current with the employment market and the general state of the economy, we considered increases well above those amounts to retain key personnel. We're always evaluating our employees and the contribution they make and reward them accordingly. It's not one size fits all here. It never has been one size fits all. If you do a better job, you get more money. I mentioned that we had a meeting here with all the employees last week covering salaries and the insurance, which I'll get to next. Health insurance, we're changing plans for the first time in 10 years. We're going from a Benecon, which was a self-funded plan, basically, to Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is a fully funded plan. We've seen increases over the last 3 years that total 36% in healthcare expenses, which is, it's just not peculiar to us. It's running across the entire market. Anytime you talk to anybody, health insurance costs are off the chain. I'm an employee of a bank, and I've seen my max out of pocket go up. So we've had to adjust our insurance for the employees. It's still a significant cost, well over $500,000. So, but we think that's, in the long run, this is the best way to go for at least the next few years, hopefully the next 10. We'll see how that goes. Trash removal is also a big number. That's $425,000. Hughes does that for us in a contract where it's basically flat. We're in year 4 or 5 for that. One thing to talk about, the regulations continue to increase year over year. I bring this up every year. Stormwater Management National Pollution Discharge Elimination System, MPDES. When you're elected in the public office, who would have thought you had to learn all these other acronyms? Watershed Implementation Program is another one, the WIP. So, but they're all EPA and state fund unfunded mandated costs. And when you look back 10, 15 years ago, those costs were $25,000 to $50,000. Today, they're $158,000 and increasing. On to our water system, I mentioned water rates are going to go up 8%, which is what we've typically done here, and we look at what the other towns have done, and ours, I think, compare favorably with other towns in Carroll County. But future increases are likely given the new EPA and MDE regs, which will require significant capital improvement cost, i.e. PFAS, which we're currently doing, and that will cost more money to operate our system with carbon activated filters, granular activated filters. Our appropriations permit continues to be 630,000 gallons a day. We're well underneath that. Water leaks, we have new water leak detection equipment. Our guys are running around pretty steadily this winter with all the cold weather and literally would snap pipes with the ground moving. But all these leak detection adds to the efficiency and increased capacity and eliminates waste in our system. So the new pipe we've added has definitely paid dividends as well. Water operating chemicals is probably one of their bigger costs. That's at $110,000, 4.8% increase. On the bonding side, the borrowing side, here you're talking to a banker. I'm a big believer in if you've got a 20-year improvement or a 50-year improvement, you don't incur that all today for your existing residents to pay. You spread that cost out for the period of time that your residents will enjoy the improvement. But the paving bond that I mentioned that we had to take out for $500,000 in year 13, we're in year 14 of 15 for that, so we're well under $100,000. It was a 15-year paving bond, so that shows you we're getting good usage out of our streets, that we don't have to repave them for 15 years. And that was only several streets. That was not nearly everything. And at some point, we're going to have, just throw this in at a side, we're going to have to repave Main Street. And I hate to see what that bill's going to look like when it comes due, but we'll find a way to get it done and bond it. Street lights, the look so good on Main Street, that was originally $651,000. We're in year 8 of 15 on that one. The water line, hard to believe, but we're in year 11 of a 50-year amortization and repayment period on that one. It's a very extended period. Our bond is fixed for 11 of year 20, so in year 20 we'll have to, we'll be subject to the interest rate environment, but it'll be a significantly reduced bond at that point when we're refinancing. And I've already mentioned our PFAS engineering bond, which we originally thought was going to be $3 million, is down to 1.8, and that's on a 20-year term, again with another 50-year repayment period. So the forecast, I'd like to say uncertain to more positive for me. Residential sales continue to occur quickly and at above asking prices, so that market's resilient. We've had some new small residential developments continuing here in Hampstead. Melanie Acres is nearing completion, which was only 6 lots. Westwood Condos, I think that's 12 units a building. They're putting up another building. And then there's another one down at Roberts Field, small subdivision with 3 buildings. The interesting thing about the one at Melanie Acres, we have our first $1 million house sale in the town limits of Hampstead on basically a 1/4 acre lot.
Yep.
And you would look at this house and go, okay, I don't necessarily, I wouldn't pay $1 million for it, but that's what the market is dictating. So, it's amazing how much housing is appreciated over the years. See, on the commercial side, everybody knows, I think, sometimes before me, Tractor Supply Company they're coming. Weiss Gas and Go down at Roberts Fields, they're supposed to be coming. Ileano 3 was in here for our last planning and zoning meeting. That would be a new plaza in between 1 and 2. And they always look good, and they're an attractive addition to our Main Street. Expenses, as you can see, are always a challenge, but carefully analyzed, and overall we're a reflection of the economy since our revenue is based on property and income taxes, but we've held up well and remained diligent. And as everybody here knows firsthand, and anybody listening on TV knows, that everything continues to go up. Inflation is unrelenting. We feel the squeeze between income not going up as much and expenses going up more than we ever thought. Everything feels stretched, but I hope you agree we're making every dollar spent count and providing first-class service, and we're getting tasks done with the improvements being made, improving our quality of life, and making our town a great place to live over the long term. So that's my 10-minute or 15-minute update.
20.
Sorry, 20, but it's important that everybody knows what we're spending the money on and why. Any questions as a result of all that? All right, good. So we'll close the public hearing and we'll go on to the regular council meeting. All rise, please, for the opening. We'll do a moment of silence and then the pledge. Thank you. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Jim. Roll.
Mayor Nevin.
Here.
Councilmember Barrett.
Here.
Councilmember Painter.
Here.
Councilmember Thomas. Here. Councilmember Oglesby.
Here.
And Councilmember Zolman.
Here.
Thank you. Minute approvals from the council meeting on May 12th.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Jim, town manager's report.
As always, we'll start with the water system project. Very happy to say that the pipeline portion of the project is essentially done. Mid-Atlantic Utilities will be returning as the treatment plants are constructed and completed, and to do the tie-ins of the new pipelines to the new treatment plants, but that's all that remains on the pipeline contract. Took less than 10 months once construction started. So on the water treatment plant side of the project, been slowed down some due to issues with BABA compliance. BABA, which is Build America, Buy America, requires all iron, steel manufactured products and construction materials that are used in federally funded infrastructure projects such as this to be produced in the United States. So we run into issues occasionally. For example, the generators, the transfer switches, docking stations for the generators, they do not comply. When you have manufactured pieces like a generator, the rule says that at least 55% of the parts in the generator must be American made. Most generators do not match this requirement, and one manufacturer that is BABA compliant has a 1-year lead time, and that doesn't work for our time frame. So I'm sure we're at the beginning of this entire process with all these new treatment plants across the country. There are going to be a lot of people going through these issues. What Conowaga is going to do, they're going to submit for a hardship waiver to exclude the generators from BABA compliance. That request goes to the Made in America office of the federal government, which is actually above the EPA, and they check BABA for everybody. But speaking with the project manager at our last progress meeting, so far this little slowdown has not delayed the overall completion time of the project, which is still July of 27. Okay. Water meter reading. The town recently transitioned from the older handheld meter reading devices to a new tablet-based application for public works staff. The new software includes mapping features that help staff navigate meter reading routes, and meter reading data can now be sent to and from the tablets remotely. This eliminates the need for staff to return to town hall each time they finish a route. Public Works staff did an excellent job adapting to the new technology and completed the meter reading routes in record time. The tablet's also proven useful for documenting field issues, allowing staff to take photos of problems they encounter, such as curb box risers that need replacement or shrubs that need trimming. We were going to have to do something simply because the old readers were worn out, and going this route versus replacing or even fixing the old ones, this was the much cheaper route, and it's much better in technology and works much better overall. Finance Department, Dana, who's joining us tonight. She's currently starting the closeout of fiscal year 26 and is preparing for 2027. She's also been in communication with Zelenkowski Axelrod for the fiscal year 26 audit. And the 2025 annual water quality report for the town of Hampstead is complete and available for viewing. This report is required by the Safe Drinking Water Act and is designed to provide details about where your water comes from, what it contains, and how it compares to standards set by regulatory agencies. The report is on the town's website, hampsteadmd.gov. On the water reports page, we'll also be sending out a postcard making people aware of this and directing them towards the town's website. As far as town hall staff, last month I informed everyone that our current administrative assistant, Christy McNeil, was leaving us due to her husband being transferred out of state. This month I am happy to announce that we have hired Alicia Patton as a new administrative assistant / utility billing specialist. Alicia is a North Carroll High graduate and a lifelong resident of Hampstead. We're pleased to have Alicia join us as a part of the Town of Hampstead team. We've expanded the administrative assistant title to include utility billing specialist due to the many duties associated with the water billing process that this position performs. There are many tasks associated with this spot in the town office that most would consider normal administrative assistant tasks. And the Hampstead mural, not sure how it got mixed into the budget public hearing, but just to update you on that, the town mural being painted on the side of Rocco's Market is drawing a lot of attention. After a slow start, Dominic Jones, who's the artist, has really been moving fast these last couple of weeks. It's been fun hearing comments from folks guessing what may be coming next. And for me, knowing what the end product will be, it's been interesting to see the transfer from a computer screen to onto the brick wall and noting the little differences that he's had to make going to the actual wall. Dominic thinks he should be finished in a few more weeks. And lastly, the town offices will be closed on Friday, June 19th in observance of Juneteenth, and on Friday, July 3rd in observance of Independence Day.
Very good. Questions for Jim? All right. Diane, you got nothing to report.
Well, I think opening day 2026 of the farmers market was one of our biggest days ever. What a great community turnout. Thank you to everyone who came out to support our vendors after the long cold off season. A few of our farm vendors were absent this week due to later than normal crop production. The late April freeze and the ongoing drought have caused delays, so we anticipate that they will return within the next few weeks. The 2026 Carroll County Agritourism Passport is now available on an app called Let's Rally, R-A-L-L-I-E. This app is available from your phone's app store. Each participating location has been given a unique QR code. The app will keep track of your visits, so stop by our welcome tent and scan your code when you arrive. You can learn more about the program and how to submit your visits to win prizes by visiting the Carroll County Grown Facebook page and website. We also have a supply of paper passports for customers who prefer to use those. The market will be open July 4th, which falls on a Saturday this year. This will give our farm vendors an opportunity to sell what they've produced that week so it doesn't go to waste, and that way everybody can enjoy it. So come on out in that morning to buy all your fixings for your holiday weekend and celebrate America's 250th birthday with locally fresh food and festive decor from your favorite vendors.
Thank you. I miss Marlene's clicker because there was a ton of people there this past weekend.
It was a lot.
It was great to see. Wayne?
Okay, the train station opened on Hampstead Day. We're open every Saturday from 9 to 3. Music in the Park starts this Saturday from 6 to 8 with best regards. There's flyers out on our website and also around town.
And best regards, please.
Classic rock.
Classic rock, yep.
Okay.
The tree commission is working on a grant. We're also tying up a grant that we got last year for the Westwood Park tot lot. And then we're scheduling work days to go around and take care of some of the trees that we planted over the last couple of years. So looking forward to that. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Deb?
The Planning and Zoning Commission met on Wednesday, May 27th, and we only had one thing on there, which, thanks, Chris, that Iliano's is going to, they're gonna have this space, it's gonna be 4 to 6 retail spaces with 5 apartments above. They will be back next month with a new concept plan, as their current plan is not accurate. Currently, it's right on Main Street, but they're looking to move it back to be in line with the other 2 shopping centers. And then as far as the Carroll County Department of Planning, Scott was unable to attend, but he did relay to Christina and Jim that there was nothing to share from the county.
So the Giuliano's 1.5, it's between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Dave?
So I just want to announce that we got a nice donation from an anonymous master gardener in Carroll County, about 40 plants, native plants that we put in at the War Memorial Park. Some of the plants didn't make it through the cold last year, and on Main Street near Beaumark, we added some down there. So I just want to thank them for that donation, and it's going to look good in a couple weeks.
Very good. Ben?
Okay, for water, May, the water usage was 350,000 gallons per day. June so far has been 368,000 gallons per day. Rainfall total in May was 5.32 inches, and so far for June is 0.27 inches. With the rain we had in May, though, that moved Hampstead back to the moderate drought category from severe drought last month. And I forgot to mention it last month, but so May and June, I attended the last MML Conference Planning Committee, which we're all going to next week.
Yes, we are. Start Sunday. Thank you. Chief?
Hit the button.
Good? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Start off with our traffic safety and traffic enforcement. We had 10 reportable accidents. 6 of them were in the 482 traffic circle. 2 of them involved hit and runs that we are in the course of identifying at least one of them and possibly both. Our enforcement, I continue to I just like the way they do their enforcement. I really do. I'm impressed with all of them, the way they do it. We've written a total of 67 citations, 10 repair orders. That's the only thing I can actually talk to them about maybe increasing, and 260 warnings. Not out there hawking stop signs and doing things like that. They're writing very serious traffic violations, some speeds on, on the bypass of up to 85 miles an hour. So yeah, it's they do a great job out there. As far as our crime goes, a few frauds. We have 1 or 2 very pretty big complex cases going on right now that we're talking to federal agencies with and getting help and possibly prosecution with. Couple thefts and overdose, some verbal domestics. We did have 1 sexual assault. It was a known person. It was a very kind of strange case. It was every time the guy goes to Weiss Markets, he checks out, he goes behind, and he hugs the girl who, it's the same girl and same everything, and no issues until his last hug, and he got a little more friendlier than he should have, and she didn't like it and, reported it, so he was charged. We did have a missing person that was we thought was extremely serious in the beginning, that he was autistic, an adult male, and we spent a great deal of resources and people I know Officer Williams, who took the case, Corporal Vanek, Detective Mann. I mean, everybody just put in a great deal of effort. It ends up he was actually wanted on a couple of different warrants, and we ended up tracking him down to Rockville, where he was subsequently arrested. So that all worked out. We had a lot of training throughout the month, and the big community events. Obviously, Hampstead Day. We had the Memorial Day event at the War Memorial, and we were asked to come to. And Sergeant Cranshaw goes to Catherine's Cause, which is, as I see head shaking. So yes, that's the kind of Carroll County of MAD type thing, and they ask him regularly to come there and talk about things, and he does a good job at that. So, any questions?
We
That's all
good?
I have.
You want to recognize Casey?
Absolutely. We could. It's further down on your list, but we can do
We
it
can,
now.
yeah, they're sitting here, and you're up here, so let's go
Sure.
ahead.
Okay. So it was a couple weeks ago. Detective Casey Mann was named the Officer of the Year for Carroll County. That includes Westminster, Carroll County Sheriff's Office, all of the big agencies, and people with more maybe resources and things like that. And I can tell you, I am so impressed with him. And I come from a larger agency. I come from an agency that has, 15 people doing the job that he does. And the cases that I'm talking about that we're doing some federal prosecution and really get complex, involving fraud and identity theft. And that's what he puts his heart and soul into, and he does a phenomenal job at it. And the fact that he was recognized in an agency, a municipal agency this small, that he won the award of the Officer of the Year for Carroll County is super impressive. So.
Agreed. Well done, Casey. And
Fantastic.
the thing about Casey, for those out there, I mean, he's a North Carroll guy. Lives in Manchester, was working in Prince George's County, got tired of the 2-hour-ish commute on occasion, 3-ish at times, and so he decided he wanted to come back home, and we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to hire him, and he's been an asset ever since we got him. So, and Casey, congratulations. Officer of the Year for all of Carroll County is a great recognition for the efforts that you've put in. So, well done.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Move on to that?
Yep.
Okay, do you want to read? Well, so what we decided to do is a lot of agencies recognize officer from within different precincts would recognize an officer of the month. Because we're small, we decided that we're going to do an officer of the quarter, so that there will be 4 officers throughout the year, and it is not just statistics driven. It depends on different cases and workload and things like that. And I can tell you, I hate to say this, but I have a go-to guy, and it's Officer Jesse Burris. And I know you give him something, it's going to get done. It's going to get done correctly. Comes here as a retired corrections officer, so he's got the level of maturity and things like that. And I can tell you, most of those 80 and 85 mile an hour and people with no insurance and people, that kind of thing that are going through, he's the one catching them. And he just does a phenomenal job. He does the school checks. He just does everything. He's such a well-rounded individual, an officer that I want him to know. I want you to know that I really appreciate him And he was chosen for the January, February, and March as the officer of the quarter.
So good job. So we have a little certificate for Jesse. Come on up here. Your wife can too, since she's part of the team. All right, so we track it all. So during the first quarter of 2026, Jesse Burris led the department in traffic enforcement, community events, business and property checks, dedicating significant time and effort to building positive relationships between law enforcement and the citizens we serve. TFC Burris consistently demonstrates initiative, professionalism, and a strong work ethic. His outstanding performance in traffic enforcement, community engagement, and proactive patrol reflects the highest standards of this department and makes him highly deserving of recognition as Officer of the Quarter for the first quarter of 2026. Congratulations, sir. Thank you. Great. Got it. Good job. Kevin, you want to do water operator of the quarter, water operator of the year? Feel free.
We're good.
So, Matt, do something. So, and then the other comment tonight, my comments. People have mentioned Hampstead Day, but thank the dear Lord for the weather. 75 and sunny. It was an amazing turnout that day. Memorial Day by the American Legion was a really well done Memorial Day service, and I think it was their 30th one.
30th, yes.
Really well done, and it's amazing how we started out with that little microphone that hardly anybody could hear with tractor trailers going by. Now we shut down the street and we actually have a nice sound system. And the American Legion does a great job with that every year. Farmers Market, you can tell the team, Keith and everybody, you guys have done, Diane, Wayne, you guys have done an amazing job. Marlene, you started it all, and it's just great to see it continue to evolve year over year. Wayne and I attended the Hampstead School, the old Hampstead School reunion, 1978 through, whatever the oldest person was who was there. And they were at Friendly Farms this year again, but Wayne and some other folks suggested they should be at Fireside on Main, and so they've agreed that they're coming back to Main Street next year. And it's always great to see the folks there, at least half of which still live here in Hampstead and environs. We had scholarships we had to give out, the 3 municipal $1,000 scholarships. From some deserving Manchester Valley High School seniors. They were Julie Staples, Lily Seek, and Samantha Watts won it. They're not here tonight because guess where they are? Ocean City, or I think one of them was going actually someplace else with her grandmother on a cruise or something. So good for them. All very well deserving. And Deb, thanks for reviewing all those scholarships and suggesting these ladies as the winners. We went to the Carroll County, Maryland Municipal League meeting in Mount Airy, our joint meeting with Frederick. That was sometime there in May. It's all blurring together, but that was a good turnout down there that it is every year. This past weekend, Deb and Diane and I were at Genova's 50th anniversary down there at the Robertsfield Shopping Center. They actually started at North Carroll Plaza Shopping Center and then have been down there, but they've been 50 years, 48 of which are in Hampstead. So that was, third generation currently running the place, and I met the grandkids, so the fourth generation's in waiting. And then they met, I think Ben mentioned we're going down to the Maryland Municipal League Conference in Ocean City. My feet don't hit the sand. They're always at the convention center or wherever dinner is or wherever we're running to that while we're down there for those 3 or 4 days. So it's always a good event for that. Again, chock full of educational seminars for us to attend as well. I'll be attending my first local government insurance board meeting tomorrow. I got appointed to the board, because I raised a lot of questions about our insurance to start with. But so now I'm going on the board there, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then finally, we had a lot of police chief interviews. We had 6 I forget how many resumes we got, at least 50-ish. and we thought 6 were worthy of interviews. We got down to 2 finalists, and now we have a candidate which we've extended a conditional offer to. So that requires background checks and a few other things. I assume they'll go smoothly, but I don't want to announce any names yet. That'll come next month. But he can't, if all goes well, he can't start till the end of July. His very first day will be when we have our fire carnival on July 27th. So he'll get indoctrinated in a hurry. Unfortunately for Chief Monahan, he's going to stick around for a while longer, even though his golf game's suffering. So, but he's been a great interim step. And I want to thank John Hess from Manchester, Mike Spalding from Sykesville, Justin Baker, the colonel over at the sheriff's office, and Chief Monahan, and Deb Painter, and Jim Rourke, and Judy Rang from town staff for helping us conduct those interviews. I think, it came down to, I don't think between the 2 gentlemen who were the finalists that either of them would have fit in very well, but the one that I think we chose just has a better background and is suited for our job. So hopefully everybody agrees when we meet him. Last off script, Wayne's wearing our Hampstead 250 anniversary shirt. Show the back.
Fashion
Do the
tech.
catwalk.
So there you go.
Walk the catwalk?
Yeah, so we're good. There was the catwalk. But we debuted them on Hampstead Day, and it's amazing how many comments we got. And ever since I've worn it, I get comments.
People want to buy them.
Yes.
They want to buy them.
Do we have an online store
We
yet?
are going to have that conversation tomorrow.
Okay.
Online store, really?
So-
Yes.
Nice.
People want hats, they want the
And
shirts,
swag.
so,
like it.
it's an actual picture of our Main Street that I think Jim took. And it's thermoplasted onto the back of the shirt. So, and they're, so they're nice shirts. We're gonna sport them, on Monday down at Maryland Municipal League. Everybody's gonna wear a team jersey that day. So, they'll know where we're from, but they've gotten a lot of positive feedback. We'll see. Jason Cavey, who's local, was the guy.
West 88.
West 88 is the name of his company, but, he's local. Jason was a one-term congressman or councilman way back in the day, in the 2010 era. So, but him and his family live out there on Black Rock Road, but he, did a great job getting these, and there's some quality shirts. So if people want them, we'll sell them and spread the love around. So that's my comments. Sorry I talked so much tonight. We've already done the first 3 items under new business. The 4th item is the approval of a $1.5 million line of credit with Farmers and Merchants Bank. We're doing this line of credit. It's a revolving line of credit. It means we borrow the funds, we pay back the funds, and the commitment for 1.5 stays there. But we're doing this because we have to, for our PFAS project, we have to spend the money, and the contractors need to be paid before we can get the money back from the state, and the procurement process can be lengthy. So typically, it's 30 days to pay the contractors. It's probably 60 days before we get the money. So we're out $650,000, $700,000 more if they miss a payment, if the state's a little slow in getting us the money. So that's the reason for the $1.5 million.
I move to approve the line of credit.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Then, on to ordinances and resolutions. We've got the first one being the adoption of 559, Ordinance 559, which is an ordinance for the levy of taxes for the fiscal year 2027. As I mentioned, the property tax is 22 cents, not changing.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, and then ordinance 560, which is an ordinance to adopt the annual budget of the town of Hampstead for the period of July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. Is there a motion to get it on the table?
I make a motion.
Motion?
Second.
A second by Diane. And then the other thing is we've had several adjustments to the introduced version of the budget. We added $10,000 for lamp post replacements on Main Street. The extra 12 that we bought when we first did this in 2016, we're down to 1 in inventory. So we got to buy another. I'm amazed that it's only been basically about 1 per year that's gotten hit and taken out. So we're going to have to buy some more. Yeah. So there was $16,000 put in there for that. We have a new community parks and playgrounds grant of $240,000 that was added in there. Under increasing regulations, the state of Maryland is starting something called the Family Medical Leave Insurance Act. So, and starting on January 1st of 2027, 0.9% of our payroll will get taxed and put into this fund at the state so that there can be this leave insurance for any employee in all of the state of Maryland. How they're going to do this over the long term with it increases to 1.5%, but in the next year. But it's another basically $10,000 rounded. Part of our insurance plan, we took away the health reimbursement piece of it, so that was a $24,000 savings. But so there were several changes back and forth in moving money, and that's the reason for the amendments to the budget.
Okay, make a motion to amend ordinance 560 based on the amendments that you just mentioned.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
We'll do the roll call for the whole thing. This one. A motion to adopt as amended.
Yes.
Okay. So now that we'll take a motion to adopt ordinance 560 as amended.
Make a motion.
Second?
Second. Any discussion of this?
No.
I did enough explaining it? All right.
No discussion.
No more discussion? Noted. Roll call.
Councilmember Barrett,
Yes.
Councilmember Painter,
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas,
Yes.
Councilmember Oglesby.
Yes.
Councilmember Zollman.
Yes.
All right. Then we have adoption of a resolution 2026-02, which is a resolution regarding the increase in water rates, which I mentioned is 8%.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion of that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. And now, the non-budget resolutions, 2026-04, the resolution adopting 2024 water resources element that Jim and his staff have worked on very
So-
diligently.
Second?
Motion made by Deb, seconded by Ben. Any discussion of that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. And then adoption of resolution 2026-03, a resolution to amend the town charter concerning uncontested elections. A motion,
Motion to approve.
Second?
and there's been some amendments to it. Wayne, or?
Yes, so
or-
there's been, as you see in your print, everything in blue is a change to what was originally introduced. So I make a motion to amend this resolution based on the blue text.
Second.
All those in favor of the amendment to the resolution?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Then finally, the adoption of the resolution as amended.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye. By
Anyone?
roll call.
Okay.
Councilmember Barrett,
Yes.
Councilmember Painter,
Yes.
Councilmember Thomas,
Yes.
Councilmember Oglesby,
Yes.
Councilmember Zollman.
Yes.
Okay, I'm done talking. Public comments? We're good? All right.
Wait.
Up.
I was gonna, just before I continue, I just wanna compliment everybody. I had not attended Hampstead Day since it moved down to Arcadia. And I apologize, it just wasn't in my, in my realm. And, so I had a booth this year and I was just totally impressed with everything. The organization, the weather, but, yeah, it's just a great day. So thank you all very much.
Thanks, Green. Any other comments? Motion to adjourn?
And let's stay. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you all, and it'll be after July 4th before we meet again, so everybody enjoy the holiday. Happy 4th.